It may be no shock to anybody when I say the Legend of Zelda franchise is the best in existence. These games have made up many fond memories I have as a child. The sense of adventure, the dread when entering a new dungeon, the feeling of accomplishment when solving puzzles, and the looming threat of the dungeon's boss and the game's antagonist. Link's Awakening is one of those games that stands out in the crowd. Some of the traditional elements are not present in this game. Ganon, the Master Sword, even Zelda. This game is set on a completely uncharted island inhabited by monsters and very wholesome people. Naturally, when stranded on an island away from home, Link's main objective is to leave. This immediately removes the looming threat of an overarching antagonist and gives the player one simple objective: get off the island. The island itself is actually very beautiful. The design, at least for the remake, is clean and very well realized. And this is a hot take right here. I think that when Zelda games move away from the traditional setup, these games benefit the most. Because the developers are now given the freedom to start from scratch and really stretch the imagination, which gives the player a new sense of exploration. Because now we have a new setting, a new lore to understand and learn what makes it engaging. My favorite game in the Zelda franchise is Majora's Mask for that exact reason, and this game is no exception. Once the player is let loose on Koholint Island, the first thing the player wants to do is interact with the inhabitants and learn about this new location. Very quickly you will learn about the windfish and the egg on top of the island, which will increase your sense of curiosity once the owl flies over to you and explains the only way to leave the island is to wake the windfish. And the only way to do so is to travel to the 8 dungeons on the island and collect the instruments required to wake it. And along the way, you will meet people on the island and grow attached to them. Eventually, you will feel sad about the fact that you have to leave these people behind when Link leaves. And I love this setup. It makes for an engaging story. It leads to one of the saddest endings in a Zelda game. Most Zelda games have a very sweet ending. The hero wins, the bad guy is defeated, but not here. Right from the beginning, you already know there is something off about this island. Every interaction you have builds on that mystery. What is this island? As you traverse through the island and gather more instruments, the number of enemies increases. Soon after the 4th dungeon, the owl instructs you to go to the desert area where you will learn the truth about this island. Inside, you find an ancient stone tablet that tells you the island is but a dream, and waking the windfish will end the dream and the island will disappear. This is brilliantly done. In the remake version, the visual style is very beautiful, but the border of the screen is faded, giving it that dreamlike feel. And there is no sense of time passing. It is always presented in the daylight, making it seem like time doesn't move. Even the bosses of this game aren't called the dungeon's boss, they are called nightmares. As you go further through the game, the nightmares begin to plead with you not to wake the windfish. Some even state that Link will fade away too because he's part of the dream as well. And it brings conflicting feelings up in the player because at first, all you want to do is leave the island in peace. But now, to do so would be to end the lives of the people on the island. But to not do so would be to leave the windfish in a never-ending sleep filled with nightmares. And the way this game makes us feel conflicted about the people on the island is through one person in particular, Marin. Marin is the most wholesome part of this entire game. She is the sweet village resident who dreams of the wider world. The game is smart when presenting this character. She consistently tells us about how lovely the day is, and she just wants to sing. There's a part of this game where Link needs to ask Marin to help her move a seal with her beautiful voice, and she asks Link to sit on a log and look out at the ocean with her, which is a beautiful cutscene. I love this cutscene so much. During this cutscene, she tells us about how she wonders what's past the ocean, and if she was a seagull, she'd fly away and sing for as many people, which is just so heartwarming. This one character gives us a connection to the island, and it conflicts us about whether or not we even want to finish the game. And before the final dungeon, we find Marin on a bridge. She tells us that she made a wish to the windfish, but won't tell us what it is. And if you go and find her before you finish the game, she asks you not to forget about her. When you finally defeat the final boss and wake the windfish, the game cuts to a cutscene that shows us the inhabitants of the island fading away, and one last look at Marin before she fades away too. The final shot of the game is Link sitting on his raft, seeing the windfish fly above him, telling us that these events were real. However, it doesn't end there. Because if you manage to complete the game without dying, you get a secret ending that shows us Marin got her wish. She finally gets to sing her song to people far, far away.